Hey, this is Manly with verticallessons.com. In this short video, we're going to cover how to leverage the weekly reflection and clarity process to make sure that you're constantly building and maintaining momentum towards what you really want to accomplish, whether that's work or professional, personal, in any area of your life. Top left, we're going to focus on the 7 questions on a weekly basis. I want to invite you to just sit down. It won't take but a few minutes. If you can carve out even 5 minutes, maybe 10, to just jot down a quick response to each of the questions that I have in the process. By the way, these 7 questions are the culmination of many, many, many years of work and research and reflection and studying with some of the leading authorities in the world on how to enhance our focus and make sure we're getting absolutely the most important things done in our life, and that we're not overwhelmed with all the chaos that we just deal with day in and day out. So first key question, this ties back to the daily process as well, but there's a slight shift in the wording that I've used, and it says, what am I grateful for? What, specifically referring to things outside of the relationships that you might normally be focused your gratitude on. A good example for me recently, it's simple little things. I was grateful for my home, grateful to be born in the country that I live in. I wrote down that I'm grateful for my Apple products. You may not like Apple, that's fine, but I really had a moment, just a brief moment, like 5 seconds, where I thought, you know what, this is amazing that I have this tool in my hands. I have my laptop that I'm able to create and do so much with. It could be any simple thing like that you have a car that runs. What things in your life really make things easier that you might take for granted? So just a quick moment to focus on that. Second question, this one's incredibly powerful. This one could take you a moment, not necessarily to write to, but to reflect on, is what do I want more of? For me, it was peace and confidence were the 2 words. A pretty high level, and then I went on to describe what that meant for me in the context around that in just a sentence or 2. So what is it that you want more of, right? The third piece, directly related to the previous question, is where is resistance showing up in my life? So for me, I have a lot of resistance around creating content for you and putting it out there. The bottom line is I fear being judged, or that people are going to think I'm showing off, or who am I to say this or do this. It can show up in so many different ways. Resistance around something important that you know you need to do, a conversation that you've been putting off, a new skill that you need to develop, lots of different areas and ways in which resistance can show up internally for us to keep us from doing what we know we need to do to move ourselves forward. So respond to that prompt. The fourth one, what might I be holding on to that I need to let go of that could be holding me back? Really powerful. Typically this will, if you'll drill down here, it's often a belief or something, a pattern of thinking that is no longer serving you. By the way, that's a very powerful way to frame it as well, is that what might I be holding on to that's no longer serving me? So that way you're free from judging about it or getting hung up about the history of how you came to that conclusion or what happened in your life that caused you to be that way. Just is it still serving you? And if you let go of it, what might be possible? So what could that be? For me, there's beliefs around several different things in my life. I won't go into detail just to not bore you with it. But for me, it was about beliefs, and I knew that I needed to let go of an old belief that no longer served me. Next question, number 5, what do I need to restart? This directly relates to the vertical lesson at the beginning of the Reaching Your Next Summit planner and momentum journal. That is, what simple thing that you were doing that you know gets results in your life you need to restart and just start doing again. For me, it's a daily exercise routine. I had been doing it pretty consistent, hitting it pretty good, not for even that long, but just daily, consistently. And then I got sick in the last few weeks and knocked me off my routine, knocked me off the horse, as I like to say. So I'm going to restart that simple 5-minute high-intensity training exercise for me, that no matter what, every day, I can get that in 5 minutes, no excuses. So it could be something health-related, business-related, personal, whatever. What's one area where you need to restart something that's been helpful in the past? Question number 6, what uncomfortable opportunity is presenting today or this week? Since this is meant as a weekly review process, it could be as you look out the future week, maybe it's a meeting you have, an opportunity for growth, some opportunity to step up in some way in your life. What uncomfortable opportunity is presenting? Respond to that. And then the 7th question closes with the gratitude as well, but we're going to focus on the people in this case. So this time it starts with who. Who am I grateful for? What people? This one for me was simple. I'd started with my core immediate family and then went into extended family and friends, and even some friends in the business world in my organization that I'm really crazy about. That helped me focus on that positive aspect of my life, and then that focus then drives more intention and more intentional outreach with all those people that help make your life more meaningful and give you the support you need. That's one of the points of that key gratitude exercise. And then the belay in the daily process is to then be intentional about building those relationships so you have more of that, so that we're actually directing our life in the way that we know that's going to be most helpful. So those are the 7 reflection questions. Should take you just a few minutes. Totally worth sitting and writing those down week to week. And then over on the right-hand side of the page, we're going to focus on your 7 summit affirmations. Let me explain quickly what this is about and what it's not about. I don't mean these to be, and what's not very effective are just feel-good affirmations. They can be helpful sometimes, but they're just not as productive as very goal-focused and oriented affirmations to drive you towards what you really want to accomplish. So where you can pull from this is, key areas in your life I would look to write out the 7. Why is it 7 and not 10 or 12? The reason I picked 7 as a kind of an outside maximum number for you, it could be a few less if you want, but 7 is a manageable number from a cognitive standpoint to keep on the top of your mind. Believe me, if you write down 7 objectives, summits you want to accomplish within the next 90 days, you'll have a hard time. Somebody just asks you to reel them off. I bet you it's going to be a challenge. So 7 is enough for us to focus on and manage. And I think that you'll find that will give you some clarity, just narrowing it down to 7. Again, if you come up with 3 or 5, that's fine, but just focus it in just a few areas. So what areas of your life might you pull these from? Here are some ideas for you. So I typically pull these from a list of areas. I'm going to read them off quickly to you. Top one is body for me, foundational health, well-being. What goal, objective, summit do you want to hit in the next 90 days? It could be, by the way, a shorter range project. For right now, this upcoming week, you're going to focus it, though. So that's to say that it doesn't have to be the same 7 for a 90-day period, but throughout this 90-day period, you're going to focus week to week on 7 objectives. So the first one could pull from body or health related, pretty common when exercise or whatnot. The second one could be a spiritual growth area if that's important to you. If it's not, that's fine. Then go on to the third possible area you might pull from is an intellectual growth summit that you want to hit. Maybe you're trying to learn something new, a skill set for work so you can get promoted or be more engaged in your work. Perhaps that's a skill set in some personal part of your life that you want to get better at golf or tennis or reading a book that you've been interested in or a hobby. I don't care what it is. It's just having that focus will definitely move you forward. Otherwise, it's just something you would have been wanting to do and like to do, and you won't get it done. That's why you're going to write it down so that you focus the brain on it. You engage the reticular activation system in your brain. It's a little group of neurons, a really small section in your brain at the top of your spinal cord that's actually in charge of filtering what you focus on and what you don't focus on so that you're not overwhelmed with the thousands and thousands and thousands of different inputs our brain is bombarded with from moment to moment, but instead you're focusing on one particular aspect that you want to focus on and draw attention to. This, by the way, is the reason that when you start thinking about buying a car, we started looking at buying a Honda CR-V a while back, and sure enough, you see them everywhere, right? This is the classic example. And I remember saying to my wife twice, we each said, wow, I didn't know there were so many on the road. Of course, they've been there the whole time. The same way, you writing these affirmations down, the 7 summits, will help you focus your attention on that so your brain starts looking for things that match that pattern and will help contribute your focus and attention to whatever it is you're trying to focus on. So here's a few other areas you could pull from. Financial. That could be maybe you have a savings goal or an earnings goal or some financial related summit that you would like to hit that you want to focus on for this particular week. Family and friends, maybe they're key relationships in that realm that you want to focus on. Life partner, something specific with that key person in your life that you want to build that relationship on. Maybe you have, here's a great example. When the kids were young, we wanted to do a date night on a regular basis. And the goal was, one night a week that we would have a date night. Life's work and or mission. Maybe you have a community aspect or something in your church or an organization in which you give back to, or some way you feel that you're compelled to contribute in a meaningful way. This is one for me that comes up. This is one where we wish a lot, but we don't really get it done. So my wife and I had intended for years to be part of a community, and we're actually not even a regular part of a church, but we had a church that a friend started that we wanted to volunteer on a regular basis and just show up once a month and contribute to his work. And so there's plenty of opportunities. I think that's worth looking at as well. Is there a LifeWorks or mission area that you could pull a summit focus on from? Enjoyment is the last one. What are some things that just bring you joy that you don't do as much anymore? And you need a little more of that in your life just to make things happier and have a little more fun. So that would be a great affirmation. So the word affirmation, again, it's one that could be, it's not the fuzzy, this is not about, I wish, for $1 million. No. We got it. The whole reason you're writing this down is so you then will pull from it. And if you remember in the daily process, we're looking to pull day to day, those 3 objectives we're going to focus on, the 3 summits, are going to come from this list of 7. So we make the list of 7 weekly. Daily, we pick out 3 of them, and then tactically, we pick the most important tasks that are going to move us forward to actually accomplishing those particular summits on that day. So it's not just sitting around wishing. Okay, here's a format I would suggest you consider. The format is fairly simple, but there's some very intentional ways I'm going to structure this for you that's been cognitively and scientifically proven through brain scans and behavioral psychology to actually help you be more likely to actually accomplish this summit or goal that you're writing down. So start it out with I am. In the next word, pick a adjective or adverb, a descriptor to describe an emotional component of how you're going to feel when you accomplish this. So a good example for me was on the body health related one is I feel completely energized that I'm exercising regularly now and I feel more alive than ever. It could be simple. It sounds, some of you may be like, well, it sounds a little wonky, like, or it's all future, like it's already happened, right? This absolutely works. And they've actually shown in brain scans when we frame things in a future context, it lights up more of our areas of our brain related to motivation and reward. And so it engages those internal motivations in the brain to help us focus and get excited about achieving whatever it is. So financial one could be a good one. I am so overjoyed that we got to have the vacation that we've been wanting by saving up the money that we needed to have a meaningful experience with the family. Just made that one up on the fly. So I am, adverb, adjective to describe, emotionally connect you with the result. That'd be the last piece is what is it exactly that you can imagine this actually having already occurred and accomplishing it. So you're essentially writing out the goal of the summit, but you're framing it in a way that's a future of pace, and it's using the word I, so it's very subconsciously and consciously focused on directed to you and not about someone else. So holding you almost accountable in a way as well from a behavioral standpoint, psychological and neurological as well. So you write those 7 out, and that's it. And then you engage in the daily process day in and day out. Try this. I promise you, if you'll give it just 7 days, if you'll go through the reflection, clarity, momentum, 7-question process, write out your 7 summit affirmations, and then do the daily process, it just is as little as 5 minutes a day. The amount of clarity it creates for you, which will build momentum, will be remarkable. I promise you it's going to make a difference. Just give it a shot, and I guarantee it's going to help you. You'll find it very valuable. So thank you. I appreciate you. Let me know if you have any questions. Please feel free to share this. I give away the single-page planner and the reflection process away for free. I would love for you to share that with someone, invite them to join part of my community here and just being part of regular information I'm sending out and resources like this to help you get more of what's important done for you so that you live a more meaningful life, hit your next summit, and that everything is better for you. Thanks.